Welcome back to Total Spotfest. That's Jamie. I'm JJ. We are without our beloved Austin Reddick. We'll explain in just a second here. But hello and welcome. Welcome and hello. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you joining in. Jamie, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, man. Like lots of good wrestling going on right now. I'm not in softball hell right now, so it's pretty good. Big Rob,
which might be the best. Are you back from Italy, Rob, or are you aren't tuning in from Italy?
If he is, like, that's dedication.
That's amazing if he is. You know, it's also like probably like what 8 a.m. or something over there. So whatever. No, but yeah, no softball is probably the especially with as hot as it's been up here. You were probably just like, oh, thank God we're done with softball.
Yeah. You know, I had a whole lot of life happening like 2 weeks ago, and it got a little overwhelming. But no, life is good right now. So I am nice. No, I'm just excited. Yeah. School. I got school stuff right around the corner. Megan's going off to college. I got the other two, like one's becoming a freshman in high school. Like, dude, like I'm old as fuck right now. That's all I
Yep. Oh, trust me, I know. It's like I get those old moments in like little bursts, but you get them like in your face with a fucking truck. Just bam, here you go.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Hold the phone. Pause. Heather, you're a are you a high school librarian? Like, what? I knew you were a librarian, obviously, but like, at a school?
It's not even August. I mean,
oh well, I have teacher friends who are already getting the room set up and doing all the things. I have to know now. I have to know.
Questioning minds want to know.
Damn it, baby girl, because I need to know. Anybody?
Oh, no. God.
He was married to J-Lo for a minute.
I know. He has 2 kids by J-Lo. And that song was what, 2008, 2006, something like that.
Oh no, dude, that thing was like 2003.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. Well, all I know is that song was literally everywhere you went for like a good 6 months. It was, oh God. Well, thank you guys for joining us again. If it's your first time here, welcome. We'll hope to see you back here. Hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button below. We love to see you back. You can join in if you're here on the live chat. Our moderator, Heather, there is keeping everybody in line. Say hello to Big Rob and everybody else. If you're watching on the replay.
99.
Was it 99? Oh, my God. So I had a moment. Okay, we're talking about being old, and we've got music out there. And I know it pales in comparison to having a daughter starting college and starting high school in the same month. But so I was on a Twitch community that I'm part of, right? So I was on this Twitch chat the other night, and like before the streamer came on, she always has like these different playlists. So, well, she had like this early, like late 90s, early 2000s playlist, and I'm just rocking. I'm like Weedus comes on, and I'm like, yeah, you know,
let's go.
Oh yeah, and I'm just like literally like just getting all the lyrics out, you know, and all this stuff. And then it pulls up some techno stuff from the 90s. And one of the persons who, you internet friends, you know their screen name and maybe a little bit about them, but you don't know. You don't know.
The librarian.
Right. You might know a little bit about them. You live here, you do this, you know, you don't know them, you know, but that's cool. That's fine, right? So this one member of the community comes on and he goes, I don't think I was alive during this song. And I just go, you shut the fuck up right now. I don't want to hear it. Just, oh my God. It was glorious.
Way to make me feel old, man. Way to make me feel old.
Exactly. I don't, I mean, it's bad enough when you hear about, you know, oh, they're doing this tour. Oh, it's so cool. It's so great. It's their 25th anniversary. Like, fuck you.
So in the honor of bringing the party down, because I feel like that's what you're doing an excellent job of doing right now. Our good friend and wife of the absent Austin Reddick, who you might notice is not here with us tonight, Miss Heidi Howitzer suffered an injury this past weekend at a show. Yeah. She fractured her ankle and will be out of commission for a hot minute. That's where Austin is. He's being a great husband and taking care of his beautiful wife and nursing her back to health because she is not exactly the most mobile with a fractured ankle.
I got the mental picture in my mind. Heidi with leg up on the couch, Austin spoon feeding her soup. I hope that's all true. But please get better, Heidi. Our favorite Wichita-based wrestler.
One of them. Our favorite female.
Okay, all right.
Because Austin, he's on the show. Like, he's our boy. So
I know. You gotta rib your boys a little bit. That's why I was trying to do. But no, we definitely want Heidi to be better. The wrestling world is less for not having a live Heidi Howitzer in it. And if you need further proof of that, look up Heidi Howitzer versus Matt Brannigan. Do it.
It's the epitome of professional wrestling. It's peak professional wrestling.
You don't get
everything.
You don't get more professional than that. I mean,
very serious wrestling, like technical.
I mean, you know, you can give Kenny Omega and Okada 40 million stars. Pales in comparison to the gym that is Howitzer Brannigan. I'm just going to say that.
I mean, the Kip Up Off was by far and away the epitome of what we're talking about.
If you guys know what we're talking about, as soon as we're done here, go look it up, Google it. You gotta see it. All right,
it's worth a Google.
All right, Jamie.
But hey, ladies and gentlemen, she's on the shelf, so buy her merch, help her out any way you can. She is a pleasure to be with. She's obviously a friend of the show, personal friend. She's helped me out a lot, so I'm going to give her a big shout out. She's helped me a lot with one of my daughters, so I appreciate the hell out of her. So whatever you guys can do to help her out, do it. Do it now. Heidi Howitzer. At Thunderdome Style on the Twitters and the Instagrams.
So, let's talk about a little wrestling.
Let's do it.
Fed news first, because they got SummerSlam coming up this weekend.
SummerSlam is this weekend, and they're having a 3-hour pre-show. I don't know if you heard that, and it's 100% to combat Collision, because Collision's running during that time, and they don't want anybody to not watch them just talk about wrestling instead of actually watching wrestling, which we will actually have a pretty solid face-off. So I'm really excited.
I mean, Collision's going on early so as to avoid the inevitable. They're not going to get any viewers.
Yeah.
And immediately counter-programmed. It's like, come on. We don't counter-program. We're too big. We're the... Yeah, right. Sure. Why can't we all just can we all just watch and enjoy wrestling? And I'm thinking of the companies now. It's like, just get over yourselves. Anyway.
It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, man. That's all I gotta say. I mean, like, there's good wrestling everywhere. Like, what NXT's doing with Joe Hendry is gold. He is built for NXT. That's all I gotta say about that.
See his new Pro Wrestling Tees t-shirt. Like, I saw a guy an email.
I mean, duh.
Say his name. And he
seriously thought about buying it.
I do too.
It's funny every time he somebody says his name in our house. I play his music every time. Every time. I am on Team Joe Hendry.
I thought about that, and I came really close to buying Brian Keith's new T-shirt.
Oh, the respect, yes,
so good. So we've said this a lot. WWE, no, our past proclivities, they've mostly been assuaged. I mean, we still definitely, and you're going to hear in a few minutes, we definitely lean more towards AEW, but WWE has come leaps and bounds from what it was when it was being run by that same old man who had run it for decades. So their pay-per-views are always top-notch, usually, with good wrestling. I suspect SummerSlam is going to be no different. Are you excited for this year's SummerSlam? And if you are, what are some of the matches you're excited for?
So yes, I am, and I'll tell you why I'm excited. We get to see the inevitable Dominic heel turn on Mommy, on Rhea. I think it's the most obvious thing that will ever happen.
It's gotta be.
And you know what? Even though it's the most obvious thing in the whole wide world, I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for it because a pissed off Rhea Ripley is the best version of her, other than maybe what we saw on Monday Night Raw. Because damn, ladies and gentlemen, yes, buddy, love you, man. I'm proud of you. But no, I'm really excited about that. I am excited about Solo and Cody because I have a sneaking suspicion that we are going to be seeing somebody that we may need to acknowledge.
You think Roman's going to peek his head out from under the rock?
Either him or Jimmy. It's going to be either one.
Okay.
It will be one or the other. And then we are going to get an OG Bloodline reunion. And things are just going to get crazy from there.
I think you're going to have some bloodline dissension. That's the obvious next step is for bloodline versus bloodline of some fallout and different variants there, more infighting and all that, which I think is good because it, remove them the bloodline was a fantastic story. They ran with it too long. Yes. I will fight anybody on that. 100% that ran too long, about a year's worth too long, but for what it was amazing. It was always like, yeah, WWE sucks, but this is good, right? It was one of those things for years, right? I think that's the obvious next step, right? Plus, it moves Cody to go on and do other things, right? If they're focused on infighting, he doesn't have to keep looking at the Roman that's inevitably going to come after him at some point at WrestleMania in the next 3 years. Who knows, right?
Yeah. Looking forward to that. I am not looking forward to CM Punk, Drew, because Drew's gonna win. Seth Rollins gonna cost CM Punk. It's very obvious. So whatever. I'm just already kind of over that.
This should be better than what it. This. The sum is not the whole of this. Its parts here, even with Punk and everybody's feelings on Punk aside, right?
Yeah.
This I thought would be better.
Well, he just got cleared, and then Bully Ray in his infinite wisdom, sometimes Bully Ray did some very out of pocket stuff.
No,
but I 100%
not Bully
agree
Ray.
with him. I 100% agree with him when he literally said that when they said that those two cannot touch each other until SummerSlam, it took the wind out of the sails of this. And I completely agree because, like, all they're gonna do is talk now. Like, that's like the dumbest thing. You want both these guys to get physical all the way up until the very end. Maybe that Monday before is the only time they can't touch each other, but not like 3 weeks before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just suck out the fun, man.
You had Punk get physical 2 weeks after he had surgery and he was on comment. I mean, come on, right? Yeah. Whatever. Whatever.
Women wise, I feel like Nia Jax might win the belt. It's either gonna be her or Tiffy's gonna cash in. I'm all about Tiffy time. I am all about the Tiffy time.
I feel it's Tiffy time. I feel like this is a good spot for the cash in because the cash ins. We mentioned this during Money in the Bank, right? You know that the cash ins. They seem to have gone into that obligatory immediate cash in, right? Which it loses its luster when you do it too often. And then there's the long drawn out cash in, right?
Like Damian Priest.
Damian Priest did, or like Seth Rollins did, when you catch it at WrestleMania, which is good. I feel like this is a good time for it. It's not too soon. It's not, and I think it's the right move considering how over Tiff is right now. Because outside of a few figures in your women's division, I mean, that division doesn't have a lot of luster right now for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Braun Breaker's winning too. He better. And it better be like a quick ass. Like, he needs to wreck his shit. Like, because they're building him up to be that way. It needs to be. I know it's Sammy, and I love me some Sammy. It needs to be a 1 minute match, like Mr. Perfect Goldberg. Like, if you remember that match, then you know.
Well, I do.
One on the rope, spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Bam. Like, let's get out. New champ. Like, it was that fast.
Yeah.
I want that here.
I'm with you there. Anyway, SummerSlam, one of those fundamental cornerstone events, so should be good times. Other news in the WWE world is I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but is the Wyatt 6. I still don't feel it's gonna have legs to last. I don't know. It's just I
do.
Tell me why you do. They showed their faces. Cool. Okay, but tell me
why
you.
And slow burn, man.
And that's fine. We already knew who they were, if you know. But that's not the point. I get that.
They are an A24 horror movie. And if you know anything about A24 horror movies, they are slow, they are creepy, and then they get to the point, and then they get off the point, and they get on the point, and then they stay on it. That's what we're doing right now. They were off, on, and now we're starting to get on point. And now, shit's getting good. Gotta admit it.
I hope so. I really hope so. I don't know. I've been burned too many times, man. I hope you're done.
Bro, I get you.
Other than that, there's really not been much else going on. I think everybody's just kind of moved aside for SummerSlam, and it's summertime and people, whatever. So, I mean,
I can't think of anything else.
I'm not really seen it.
Jesse the Body Ventura came back to WWE for the first time in 15 years. That's pretty rad.
Which is interesting. Very interesting, if you know the history.
The only way he said the only way he'd ever go back is if Vince is gone. And
here you go.
There you go.
Vince, who may or may not be planning to make his own wrestling promotion in the future. I think that's all bullshit.
Oh yeah, no. If he was, he should sink money into MAW up there because that's really big. Definitely not into first, but into MAW. Like, sink money into that one and go from there, man.
Yeah.
a friend of the show, JDX, is back up there and champion, so good for him. And
hey, way to go!
Yeah, he got canceled a little bit, and
I'm glad he stuck with it because he is way too talented. We've known him. We've dined with him, took him out for barbecues. So you gotta have some real barbecue. Yeah, hung out with him. He did some dumb stuff, said some dumb things, but.
He didn't do dumb things. He just said dumb things.
He just said dumb things. Sorry. He said dumb things.
He said really dumb things. When we say dumb, we mean really dumb things.
Yeah,
and we have doubled down, and then we have a high dumb. Down on the dumb things.
It was the extra downing that's the part that got me more than anything else. You can say something dumb. I say dumb shit week in and week out. I have if you aren't already subscribe to this channel, you can see my documented history of saying dumb things. JB will attest. He's known me for over a decade.
And I've said dumb things. But the thing is we move on. They're like, oh, yeah, that's stupid. Moving on.
But he's a really good, he's a really good cat, and really, really good dude. And I'm happy he's, because part of me thought he might not wrestle. He might move on, do other things, right? And he
like model or something. Yeah.
Right. He talked about Hollywood, stuff like that, right? Potential. So I'm glad he's wrestling, so that's good. You want to talk AEW?
Yeah, let's talk about the leaked photo first.
Go for it.
So a couple weeks ago, there was a little rumblings about Shane McMahon and Tony Khan, and Tony's like, I've never talked to him, but I'd be more than happy to have him, right? Like we'd have a conversation, and then magically, a leaked photo of Shane and Tony talking. So this is what I think, and I want your opinion. I think Tony leaked it.
Okay.
On purpose. And I think that's a smart ass move.
I don't think leaked is a strong word. Let's put it that way. It was put out there for a reason. I don't disagree with you. Tony or somebody in his camp put it out there. Because, who else does it serve?
The internet trolls?
Well, them. But it serves...
talking about me.
It serves Tony Khan's purposes of anything else, right? That's the only thing. It doesn't really benefit... Sorry, who else does it benefit is what I should have said. Who does it benefit the most? Tony.
AEW. And Shane.
Well, and Shane too, but I don't see his camp putting.
He doesn't have an online presence.
No, he's not. He's got because I think he's kind of because I know that for a lot of time before he even came back to he was trying to stay away from a lot of that. He was really deep into like raising his sons and all. And his sons are now in college playing football. So his son's a piece of is a cut off grandpa's block sort of thing. But I don't know. Do you care if Shane McMahon is involved with AEW at all?
I do, actually.
You do?
I do.
Okay. I don't.
It's one of those things like I don't want to care. It's probably the best way to put it. I don't want to care. But I think right now AEW needs a little spark, viewership wise, even though I think what they're putting out on TV right now is the best stuff that they've ever done. But I think he just gives them a spark. Even if he just shows up on TV and basically reenacts the WCW thing, cool. Something like that. And then have one of the guys come out like when he's trying to say he bought it, then he gets pile driven, like, they just do that kind of thing, like to squash it and saying AEW's here to stay. Cool. Get you some ratings. Let's make it happen, Captain.
I really don't care. Personally, I think his worth is more on a business end more than anything else. Not even behind the curtain for the guys in the back. They got plenty of people to handle that, right?
Oh, his connections in China?
Yeah. Because in China. Plus, if Tony Khan's walking into a boardroom and he's bringing a McMahon with him to talk about a wrestling TV deal, that might just help him get an extra, decimal point out of that sucker. One of those things. That's the way I look at it. I don't really, because you and I have been mostly in agreement with a lot of kind of the story pathing that AEW's done and the way that they built their long-term story model, which they're now implementing, as you said, much better than anything else out there, much better than they've ever done, to be honest, right? They've had some gems in the past, but this is their best use of multi-personed long-term storytelling they've had as a entirety of a company, right? Men, women, tag team, trios, whatever the fuck is it at ROH, for the most part, it's the best. And I don't think that he is needed for any of that. And if they bring him into a story, cool. They do he bought the company angle. Fine. He's a friend of the elite and he's going to help combat the whole elite versus AEW angle. Whatever. I don't hate it, but again, I don't care.
Yeah. I just think it gives them a little juice. And
if it was Stephanie McMahon, yes.
Yeah.
Then it gets saucy. That ain't happening. But it's Shane McMahon who had a falling out with his dad before and left the wrestling industry for 12 years, right?
And then came back and then got pissed off at his dad and left.
Yeah. That's why I don't think it's as big a deal as some people want to make it out to be.
Yeah, but if they reenact the WCW angle and then
it's a great angle.
Him,
it's fantastic. It just again,
but then have him getting killed by some of the AEW guys. That'd be the best. Just take a couple bumps, bud.
Right. Take a couple bumps, and then we'll see you every quarter for our you put them on the board or something. You'll see on our board to create whatever once a quarter.
How do you feel about a Tiger Driver 91?
All right, let's talk Dynamite.
Well, let's talk Dynamite. So Dynamite, I enjoyed Dynamite tonight. Now, was it to the level of last week's? No, at least in my opinion. But in other ways, it far exceeded. So obviously, we had a few more matches. We had 2 consecutive weeks of 2 women's matches.
Yeah.
And you had a women's segment. Hallelujah, praise Jesus. Thank you, Tony, or whoever you believe in. Whatever. I'm not trying to be. But freaking, there you go, man. He's clearly a fan of the show because
we've only been bitching about this for 2.5 years, something like that.
You specifically, yes, yes, for sure.
This is almost as consistent as me. It's almost consistent as me saying hi to Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby.
Hi, Ruby.
Too slow, man. Too slow.
I'm stealing finishers again. That's what I do. I steal finishers. All right. So this show, I thought it was definitely a lot about the storytelling and a surprise story that they developed really quick, and I think it's going to pay dividends at All In. And I was already interested. They didn't have to resell me on the Will Ospreay MJF match, but then they just were like, hey, here's some gasoline for that fire. Why don't you throw it in there, kid? See what happens. And they definitely did. Okay, so if we were gonna rank Ospreay matches, this is probably not one of his best matches in AEW. It's still great because Lance Archer is a big man, and he did really well selling the big man thing, though. He did good.
He did. It was good to see him get beat up. It was good to see him get beat up a little bit too, right?
Yes.
It plays into the story. This is a man who lost his title and this and that, and he's going through so this is his downslope. So have him get beat up a little bit by Lance Archer, who is a dramatically underutilized talent, in my opinion. Right? It was good.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the match again, but I enjoyed, beforehand you had MJF cutting the I'm America promo, and then the hillbilly thing, which was whatever. That was it was kind of literally legit maybe one of his worst promos.
It was a throwback. It It was cheap. It was 100% cheap. It's a throwback to his old MJF heel promos. Come out and make fun of the place that you're in, right? That's all he did, right? Like here in the yeah, right here in the Midwest, right? And so he comes out, talks about South Carolina and Hicks and how they're not part of the America who he's representing. Whatever, it's cheap heat. It's fine.
Yeah. So obviously he gets interrupted by Ospreay, and Ospreay says that that the international championship bruv meant a lot more and is prestigious because of other people's bruv. And like he named all the previous international champions bruv, and he said that he's gonna win it back and all that, which he will. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Will Ospreay is not leaving Wembley without a win.
They can't
burn the motherfucker to the ground.
I mean, well, there lies the problem. But there lies the problem, Rob, is you got this going on in an election year, in the middle of the Olympics, you change your title to the American Championship. People want to chant USA.
Perfect though. No, it's perfect because he goes, I get it. I'm proud of my flag too. And the way he handled that was so beautiful.
Oh, he was great with it, yes.
And I don't care what anybody says. There's a lot of great entrance songs out there. But I don't know if there's any that slap harder in the very beginning than freaking Will Ospreay's. When that music hits, like I get amped because one, I know I'm going to be entertained. My eyeballs are going to be bleeding from joy. It's just like, yeah.
See, it's funny you say that because I had this very similar but different thought when Lance Archer came out, because part of what makes it so good, now we're going to the music nerddom, and JJ just woke up here like, ooh, let's go, right? But the thing is that your opening stanza of that is so abrupt and to the point. That's one of the great things about Ospreay's song. It starts off with ba-da-bum bump, ba-da-bum bump. So it gets you instantaneously this is what's going on here, right? So many wrestlers, look at Lance Archer, right? They have this like slow build up, and it's unless you're doing any sort of character work that's akin to like the Undertaker or the Wyatts, something of that nature, right? The music doesn't play into the fiddle, right? Like even MJF goes, to introduce his opponent. He starts off with "Everybody Dies," which is kind of like the opening refrain of Lance Archer's music. Why his music doesn't start with that is beyond me.
Yeah, countdown. I'm not a big fan of it.
It's just Ospreay's is so good because it is instantaneous, immediate, and it's just. It's so good. It's paced out perfectly too, so for him to walk in the ring, get in there. It's one of those few like perfect entrance songs out there.
Yeah, Heather's not wrong. Dan the Beast Severin's music was solid.
His music was amazing.
So there were some really good ones. Like some of them with the build up, like Jericho's "Break the Walls Down" was absolutely phenomenal with that, like the build up style, right?
Yeah.
And the other ones, to your point, like the Broken Glass. If you smell like
Degeneration X was fantastic,
but then you have the slow ones like Mankind, you had that kind, or Razor Ramones with the car, then they add the car to Mankind and it made it a lot better, but his original music was not good. But
no, it wasn't.
So and that's the great thing about music is some people like it just hits and you get so excited. Like it plays into the character that they are, and I think that's really good because like right now, if Hangman had his original theme, I think it would be 100% misplaced with who he is. I think his music really identifies him, and I think they've done a really good job of making sure the music goes with the person and not just hey, this is their theme no matter what.
I'll give you that. I have other just general issues with Hangman's newest thing, and that's just more of a musical preferential thing. But I think the tone of it does suit very well,
Dude, I love it. I love his new entrance song.
There's not a lot of I mean, Mikey Ruckus, who does a lot of the music for AEW, right? There's not a lot of misses happening there, right? There's a couple, though, but by far Ospreay's is near the top of the list. So, regardless, after the match is when the good stuff happened, as always, right?
Yeah, of course. Matches, so, after the match, MJF attacks Ospreay, and then Kyle Fletcher comes and makes the save. And then here's Don Callis having to run out with him, which I thought was kind of
It's one of these.
So Kyle cuts his big promo about how, that's his best friend, that's his brother, and you can't just do that.
A very good promo by Kyle, I will say. For somebody who's not been a great mic worker, it was a very good promo for him.
The mic work overall today was freaking good.
Vastly
improved. Everybody. And I'm going to say that everybody. And everybody knows what I mean when I say everybody.
Exactly, we'll put a pin there. We're going to come back to that. But, overall, we've talked about that. Kyle's got the skills. His mic needs to come up. I felt this is very good. It was very impassioned, right? Yeah. It was very good work. And he did a fantastic job of setting up the story, which you and I both called, and Austin, for the record, all three of us, which we all called out weeks ago, right? That's the angle. As soon as they did the whole, Don Callis is letting Ospreay out of the family, right? You're released from your vow sort of thing. We're all like, oh yeah, they're setting up a Kyle Fletcher thing, right? So they're definitely doing that, but in a fantastic sleight of hand way. But I thought it was great. I think it's great for Kyle Fletcher. This is a kid who when Aussie Open was a tag team, I was like, these guys are the shit, man. These guys are unbelievable, right? And yeah, they're not wrong. Kyle Fletcher is a miniature Will Ospreay, a younger Will Ospreay. He is. So you get Fletcher MJF next week.
Yes, you get that next week. I hope that opens the show too, by the way.
That makes sense.
I mean, they usually open with a banger, so all I know is I didn't have to see Heat Seeker. I think MJF must watch the show because he's like, you know what, that guy really hates the Heat Seeker. I'm not gonna do it anymore.
It feels like it feels like he's moved to the Brainbuster as his main finisher.
Yes. And I got nothing out of hamster style out of you.
You got nothing out of hamster style, no.
All right.
No. You're not gonna win every fight.
Chat, if you've seen Orgasmo,
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to go right past it.
It's one of the dumbest, best things of all time. I don't want. Oh shit, man! I don't want to talk about it. And it just shows him eating cereal. Like, hey, Dad, I don't think I'm gonna do hamster style anymore. Okay, son. That's all it was. Such a great scene. I'm sorry.
That movie is fantastic.
It's all Greek to me. All right, moving on.
The fact that they named their band, which they do use to record the songs for all the South Park and their adjacent properties, DVDA, is even better. If you ever look up any of the songs from any movie that they did, right? DVDA. They actually record it. It's DVDA. If you're listening, you have no idea what we're talking about. Google it in incognito, okay?
No, just go for it.
Just go for
it. Your luck.
As long, yeah. Even if you're on your work computer.
Microsoft Edge. See what happens.
Oh. That browser is such trash. So I had to help I went out and visited my dad and my stepmom this weekend, right? My sister was staying time and I was driving her back, right? She has narcolepsy. We don't want her. She doesn't like anything over an hour on the highway. It's like, no, we don't need you driving, right? It's one of those things, right? So anyway, I went, picked up, hang out with my dad and stepmom. We had dinner. We hung out for the day. And while I was there, of course, there was part of it that it was JJ tech support for your parents' time, right? So my stepmom's like, I can't get ever since we moved out here, I can't get my internet on my computer. I go, well, that's not true. Let me figure this out, right? So after asking 8 times what they want, finally she's like, oh no, I want this. Oh, you just want to have this pinned in your browser so that when you come here, you click one thing and you go to your inbox. Yes. Okay. Easy enough. But she's edged, and my God, that browser is shit.
I mean, it's based off Chromium, so it's not that difficult.
It's not. It's just so skinned over. Oh my God. It's Microsoft.
I mean, it's Microsoft, dude.
Fucking doing Microsoft things.
All right. Well, moving on before I do. Hi, guys. Just want to make sure everybody knows that Chris Jericho is celebrating his 102nd day as FTW champion. And poor Shibata is all alone.
Foreshadowing.
Brian Keith's gonna be the one who takes him out. I'm in. What do you think about that?
I'm happy to see Brian Keith on my TV. 100%.
Brian Keith Shibata, yes, please.
Brian Keith Shibata is good. Yeah, that's the best thing. I mean, good call, Rob. I mean,
that deserves a pin.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's cool at all. The spot was nice. It was good. It kept the whole Jericho Learning Tree thing, going. They're gonna make an appearance every week. Sometimes you just need 90 seconds, like they did this night. Cool. But yeah, Brian Keith. And if y'all haven't checked out Brian Keith's shirts, go to Shop AEW and check it out. It is amazing. It's so good. So good. But that's not what tonight was about. Tonight was kind of about some women.
Yeah, so women match number 1 was a eliminator match for the CMLL World Championship between Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander with the Stokes. And this match did one thing and one thing only, in my opinion.
Okay.
It made Chris Statlander look like Chris fucking Statlander. Like, we know who she is and everything, and now she's got her mouthpiece. Like, this is the stat that was promised. Like, this is who we all thought she could be. Is this right here? And yes, they won nefariously, but who cares?
That's kind of the point too.
But it still made her look good when she started beating up on the dudes, the extras that came in. And oh man, I was in. Willow's always great, and I love me some Willow, but this did a really good job of putting Stat to her level.
And we've seen this match a few times recently, and it's been great every time, right? Both women can go. We know it's going to be good wrestling. That's not the question, right? Question is, what do you do to continue the story, and how do you justify continuing to move on the story? Because it's one of those that, well, they've already been there, done that. Why are they still doing it, right? Well, I think they did a great job of telling that part of the story. And you're right. It made Stat look great, and I think it's totally fine. I think until you have the right time to move Willow into the title picture, right? Which maybe post All In, right? Maybe it's around the time, if I had to guess, I would venture closer to Stadium Series. The fucking stadium. Help me. New York Stadium soccer tennis stadium. Grand Slam. Thank you. There's a word there.
I'm like stadium.
It's at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Is Grand Slam. I think it'd be closer to Grand Slam. If I had to wager out. You think they're whatever. I feel like until they move her into that, this is great for both of them to keep them kind of relevant. And yeah, it made Stat look like Stat.
Yeah, it was great. Big fan of how that all went down.
Now they did mention during this match, Jamie, that they showed the footage shortly thereafter that Mercedes versus Britt is indeed happening and signed for All In. So the question we have last, well, actually we'll put a pin in that until we get to that part of this. Okay.
Yeah, because that's a little bit further down, but it's still really great. So after this though, you had, dare I say, the promo of the night without hesitation? No. Actually, I'm going to give it to another one. I am going to give it to another one because it was short, sweet, and perfect. I think you know which one I'm going to go for.
I'm pretty sure I know which one you go for.
This one, like Brian Danielson, geez, Jamie, came out, reflected on like his contract ends tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, but he's still gonna wrestle at All In, and you know his neck, his body, everything, but he's gonna put all of it all in to win it because he made promises to his 7-year-old daughter.
Where are they? Promises to all of us. That 2 things he could promise us is he's going to kick people's heads in and he's going to win a world title. And we also promised his daughter. Yeah. So here comes Swerve. And that's what this interview did.
Swerve did the best Swerve thing ever. Like Swerve. And I think he's unapologetically him. He's not overly heelish. He's not overly anything, you know. But I mean, he hit him with some nasty truths. He's like, you know what? In a different time, I'd be rooting for you. Like, I would want this for you because, you know, you're an inspiration to me and my generation. But you ain't walking out with my belt. Like, you know, it was just like, it was so
and he goes, you went up against Will Ospreay, lost. I won. You did this, you know, you got pinned. I led, you know, for Blood and Guts. I led the team to victory, you know. Here's the receipts. He's just checking them. Mm-hmm. Then comes the part that I generally didn't expect, right?
The last promise?
Yeah. Danielson says to him, I will put my career up against, it's like, if you beat me, I will never wrestle again. Or if I lose it all in, I'll never wrestle again. Which we all know how retirements go in wrestling, but interesting angle, which I honestly didn't see that coming.
You know, I did. As soon as he said everything about you know, all the promises and his contracts up, and it's like, you know, he was banged up. I just knew something like this was on the horizon. I just didn't know if it was going to be this soon.
So, title versus career. Another good old trope, right?
Mm-hmm. There's a new poll up, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching live, obviously if you're listening, you won't be able to partake in the said poll. But you could also drop us a line on @TotalSpotFest in Twitter. Let us know what you think, or you can go ahead and go to our YouTube page and just post a comment of what you think. Is Bryan Danielson actually going to lose and retire? That's the thing. Lose and retire. I think that's the trope that we all got to look out for.
You know, because the thing is, going off of what he put out there, he's a man of his word, doesn't break promises. So if he loses, he's done for. I feel like there's a pretty good chance this is his last match for a while anyway. But yeah,
for sure.
The never again. Because then the other thing is, do you think he'll win?
No. No chance in hell.
I don't think it, you know, other than the potential future loophole of trying to get him back into a ring at one point in time, which he might not want to do. Maybe he wants to do one more. Maybe he wants to like be done wrestling for the rest of his life. Maybe he generally wants that. Who knows, right? I doubt it because wrestlers wrestle. So, we shall see.
Yeah, and Big Rob, actually, that's a valid point. Like they'll do the stoppage thing maybe, so like he didn't give up and he didn't really lose, but you know they took it away from him. That might be the way they keep the door open. Maybe, I don't know. That's a solid take.
It could be. I hope. That's a whole nother argument to have, though. to be real.
Yeah. So after this, you had the conglomeration.
Oh, you forgot. I know Austin's not here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I am so sorry, Austin. Yeah. JEFFJARRETT. Greeted Danielson in the back, and then Danielson challenged him to a match next week. Or to face him next week. Sorry. Face him.
I mean, yeah. Pissed off, angry, focused Bryan Danielson. Let's go.
It's my favorite.
Now you got the conglomeration.
Yeah, so the conglomeration, which is Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, might be my new favorite wrestler at this point because he's just. I mean, I love him. I've always liked him, but now they've kind of given him some wings.
Yeah,
let him fly a little bit. And Tomohiro Ishii. Yes. Love this Bulldog. Going up against Roderick Strong, Roosh, and the artist formerly known as Black Taurus. Which is what, Mortis?
The Beast Mortis.
The Beast Mortis. Mantar. Changed my mind. Oh my god. Don't you dare. Now it's stuck on my head.
It's the same gimmick. It's the same thing, really. It's just whatever.
Yeah. I mean, but Black Taurus's mask was way better.
It was fucking massive. It was huge. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he wrestled in that thing, but anyway.
Did a good job with it. But the Olay in the beginning with Orange Cassidy and the Mantar, damn it. I'm just going to call him that.
I'll go with it. Fuck it. Just go with it. Mantar.
Yeah. Mantar.
Oh. I mean, this match definitely felt like a little bit of filler in the middle of the show, right?
Yeah, it was still a good match. I enjoyed it. It went through a commercial break. But the surprise, though, was Mortis, Roosh, and Roger Strong were the ones who came out on top. I thought that was interesting.
I think it was. Especially considering...
It was clean.
Not really necessarily pointing for one another, but, the run that Briscoe's had lately, right? He's very influential in the team last week in Blood and Guts. Friday night, they had Death Before Dishonor. He beat Roddy, retained the ROH title, right? Mm-hmm. And he came out here and his team loses pretty clean. Now, OC, you can see that. Orange Cassidy doesn't need to win, right? Ishii's Ishii. It is what it is. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I did find it interesting that, the team won and they won clean. It was like...
That was the most amazing thing. Like, okay, if they won, something, some brouhaha had to have happened, right? But no, it was as clean as a whistle. Crazy.
So, a good solid middle show match.
Then after that, you had the greatest wrestler alive promo. And, I'm enjoying this version of the Acclaimed.
Are you?
More than I probably should be. Because
I agree with that.
They were getting stale. They were getting very, very stale.
Yeah, well, you only play a one-string banjo so long, I mean... It's not that vastly different for them. So that's a good thing. And, I found it, but it is just a little... Here's the only thing that I found. They come out and they call out... Oh, sorry. Well, there's a severe thunderstorm warning going on. How about that?
There you
I mean, they come out and call out FTR, whose name we haven't heard on TV in months, right? Because we're in their territory. Well, they're close. I mean, it's one of the Carolinas that they're from, but whatever. I don't know. I feel like you're correct. You're definitely correct in that they needed to kind of switch it up. They were getting a little stale. I don't really think I care though much about where they're going with any of these storylines. They're not giving enough investment for me to really care about the Acclaimed. Personally.
Yeah. They were getting stale. Very, very stale. But after this was the interview with Mariah May.
Oh, this was not stale, my friends.
And this was my promo of the night.
Shocker.
Because no, but you got to understand, granted, Mariah May's gorgeous or whatever, but this little bit of storytelling went miles if you really think about it.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Less is more. This is the quintessential less is more. I'm done answering questions. That was one of the best things. She says, in the wrestling business, it's like you get eaten alive. Like they say, you get eaten alive. Well, it was her turn to eat, and I'm like, that was well said, and I love that line.
The presentation was great. Her kind of kicked up sideways on the chair, and all that. They're doing great work with Mariah May. Let's be real.
Yeah. And then what was going on with Tony right after that? She's losing her ever-loving mind. And she's got the crazy eyebrows going on too.
The white, just white faced, basically, and the slick back, all black, and
yes. She says that this is going to be a romance for a bloody lifetime. I assume there's going to be lots of blood in their match. I'm in. In. I was already sold on wanting to watch this match anyway. Now I'm like, hook, line, sinker. Let's make this happen.
I mean, it's good that they don't, they're adding another dimension to it. The Tony character has come so far since the invention of this crazy person, right? And now just showing again the brilliance of taking and doing a turn. You don't need to sell this anymore. Is the only thing I'll say, right? We're already hook, line, and sinker into this, right? I think that if after this week they keep coming out and do the same "why'd you do it?" questions, let's kill, let's just move forward. So that's all I'll say.
So after this, we had women's match number 2.
2 weeks.
But here's the thing: when Mercedes' Diesel came out, I was nervous because historically, AEW has done a terrible job of booking big men, and they're big men. They're people who are supposed to be the dominating figure, right? Not done a very good job with that. Just plain hook, line, sinker.
Yeah.
Look at Wardlow. Look at War Daddy. Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2, Lance Archer.
Brian Cage.
I can keep going. But so I was really worried that they're going to give Kamille the same treatment, right? I was really worried that they were going to do her dirty. And this is how you book a big man or a big woman, whatever you want to call it. This is very well done. I thought they made her look incredibly well. She didn't have to say anything. She didn't have to do anything other than just beat the shit out of Brittany Jade, local talent. And then you had Mercedes Moné cutting an excellent promo.
And I will say that, just to play devil's advocate, it is too soon to 100% say they didn't mess it up necessarily, right? It's a good start, though. It's a good start.
Excellent.
It's going to be a squash match. You know that, right? Local talent, it's going to be a squash match. Fine, right? But it was done in a way, like you said, that showcased her more than just, ooh, smash, smash, They talked to her quite a bit, talked about her history, being a female professional football player, right? It was good. It was a good introduction for those who may not know Kamille. So, the brick house. What do you think about they're going with the brick house, Kamille?
So she is. I mean, that's what she's always been. It's the brick house. Yeah.
She's always been by the brick house? I didn't think she did. Okay. I've always just known her as Kamille. Okay, well.
Yeah, Kamille. The brick house Kamille. Like her Instagram and Twitter has always been the brick house. Because she is, like, I've always called her brick shit house, but yeah, now she's just a brick house.
just a brick house.
Yeah. But the other big piece was, of course, Mercedes saying that Kamille is the newest member of the Monet Corporation. So this sounds like she is going to build a faction of her own, which I am here for.
I think mini faction, I don't think there's going to be like 5-6 people running around. I think that she might get another woman, maybe potentially.
One more.
One more max, kind of like the Outcast did, and a few others like that, right? Maybe. I mean,
3. I wouldn't mind seeing like the new tag team, Queen Anamata and Red Velvet. They're a tag team in Ring of Honor, like tearing shit up, like bring them into the fold. I think that'd be cool. Awesome.
That'd be cool. Mission. Well, it was mentioned earlier, and they actually showed the footage before this match. So at Comic-Con this past week, there was an AEW panel there. Will Ospreay and Britt Baker was there, Tony Khan, right, along with Renee Paquette, a few others, Orange Cassidy, and interrupted by Mercedes and Kamille. Kamille in full Bane cosplay. Good work. And they start getting into it hot, chairs thrown and all this stuff, and chaos ensues. And that's when Tony made it official. So they're definitely doing the right things with her now. It took a while to get here, like you and we've all said, right? Heel Mercedes is best Mercedes. And they're finally digging into that in a impactful way.
And damn it, it was well done. And so she says that Britt is suspended, which I think is hilarious. Because I think she's just talking because she thinks she honestly thinks that she runs this show. And I think that's an excellent angle for her, that she doesn't live in the world of reality. Like, on the heel side, I think that's really, really.
And she drops again that EVPs, right? So they keep tying in this connection to the Bucks and the Elite, which is, if there's ever going to be a woman that's part of the Elite, it's going to be Mercedes.
Yeah,
and I'm good with that.
I'm 100% good with that, because she acts elite, so it makes sense. Before we get further, because you did bring up the San Diego Comic-Con.
We're going on Tangent World. Sorry, y'all.
People, ladies and gentlemen, how do you feel about Robert Downey Jr. being the new Dr. Doom? I have to know. I have to know right now.
How do you feel about it?
I thought long and hard about who could play Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Like who could be the person to bring Dr. Doom to life? And like,
it's a very high gravitas role when it comes to comic book lore.
Yes. He is up there Thanos level, in my opinion. maybe even a little higher than Thanos.
Technically, I'd put him higher than Thanos, but
yeah. Right? And then like Galactus above him, but that's just a different thing.
Well, Galactus is a different animal altogether.
Yeah. You know, so you want somebody who like brings the noise with it. And you gotta have somebody who looks distinguished and everything like that. I mean, that's Robert Downey Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Like, I love the fact that they're doing that because I mean, if you've seen Deadpool, then you kind of get what's going on. If you haven't seen Deadpool, what are you doing with your life? You go see that. Arguably the best Marvel movie since Endgame, hands down. Period. Like, it's amazing. Actually, there's no argument. There is no argument.
We gotta go up against Thor: Love and Thunder versus Deadpool and Wolverine. Come on.
Yeah. No, dude. I'm excited. I think he makes a lot of sense because he can play that role. You know, it's just really hard to think of who else. Liev Schreiber, maybe. Like, maybe.
I mean, there's a few. There's several good actors out there who you might think would fit into that role. You know, I think that everybody's shock and awe is just a "but he's Iron Man" thing, right? Mm-hmm. Which also tells you they haven't watched anything since Endgame. Now, I've slipped on staying up to date with a lot of the movies, but I know the general gist of where they're going with stuff. You know?
Yeah,
I'm excited to see it. I'm not gonna lie, it made me more excited to see an Avengers movie than it did before they announced it. 100%. Just because I'm like, okay, I know Downey can do it, is the thing.
And then for all those who are worried about that, like there is the Infurious Iron Man series that was out there a long time ago. If you're an Iron Man nerd, I had to look that up. But like, that's an easy thing. Like him and Doom were like bros, and like Doom does use some Stark tech. Like there is that too. Like it like all comes together, man.
If you're really into the monologues, I mean, Otto Von Doom is a lot more than just, you know, a big villain. He actually crossed over and was like the leader of the Avengers at one point in time in one arc. You know, I mean, there's a lot of different interconnected. Like there's the spaghetti bowl of storylines if you start digging into the comic books. But I think it's going to be good. Man, it got windy as hell outside all of a sudden. I just hope I don't lose my internet. If all of a sudden we're off the air, I lost the internet because it's storm's approaching, y'all. Just letting you know.
So with that being said, sir, let's just go ahead and wrap it up. B.
Let's plow through just in case.
So we have the main event, Darby Allin versus Hangman Page. And, you know, to say that I miss the old school Darby Allin matches would be a complete and utter lie. And that's what this match was. I'm sorry. I want to say that it wasn't the quintessential Darby Allin match. But it absolutely freaking
Darby
was.
got the shit beat out of him. I mean, he got thrown backwards onto the edge of the steel stairs in a very awkward way. I mean,
that looked like it hurt.
A lot looked like it hurt. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I hate to say it, one of the best parts of this whole match was when the lights went off. Unexpectedly. Like, it was still a good match. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know I'm gonna get shit on, whatever. But I'm just over the old school Darby Allin match. Like, what he was doing before this match was absolutely great, and this one was not. Like, I couldn't get into it. I could not. And I love the new hanger. I love this new hanger so much. And the fact that they had him lose to set up more storytelling is just it for me. I did enjoy that.
And a lot of this match predicated on the fact that this is a story about Hangman we're telling. The commentary leaned into that.
It's not a story about a girl who tried to blow up the whole world.
It's not.
You're welcome.
I still absolutely love her though. Yes. You're not gonna lose me on that. But 100%, like they weren't even talking about Darby for shit. They were talking more about Hangman and what he did. He keeps looking at kids because the thought process in his head about Swerve going in his house with his kid and this. And it's like, it was all focused 100% around Hangman Page, which I'm fine with, okay? I didn't even mind the fact that you had the human punching bag that is Darby Allin out there. In a way, it's almost better for the way you're trying to tell this story about Hangman. You don't have a good match getting in the way of it. And this match was fine. I'm not saying it was a bad match, but I'm just saying you don't have like if this was if this was Hanger Ospreay, we'd be watching there like, shut the fuck up. Let me see this, right? So I get that, but everything was 100% predicated on serving the Hangman story arc. Mm-hmm. Darby doesn't have to work. Darby's just there to get beat up, right? He did his job perfectly. I mean, he won on Friday. He won the double Rampage, Royal Rampage, whatever they're calling it.
Royal Rampage. So he's got a shot at the TNT title at All In.
He already had it. This is for a world title shot at Grand Slam.
Yeah, and he's got that match with Jack Perry at All In.
Right, he got that as at the end of Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Darby's story was moot to whatever was going on out here. And he just got beat up for it, which is fine. I disagree. I love that he's losing his sanity, Rob. I think what do you feel?
I like it. I like that he's just losing it. Like I hate to say it, like I can completely agree. Like 2 weeks ago, I was legit on the verge of losing it. And I think he's doing a really good job of tapping into it and always looking beyond angry every time he's on the screen, and his wrestling looks more angry. It looks like he's hitting harder. Like everything about what he's doing as a character, I am hook, line, sinker, bought in.
Mm-hmm.
And he is legit going to snap. And when that happens, like, I don't know if the crowd is going to side with him or if he's going to become the Ultimo heel. Like, something's going to happen when he just, like, completely loses his shit and just goes nuts on somebody.
It's bound to happen. I mean, there's really only only two ways that it can go. And, at the end of the day, I don't think either one's going to be a bad option for that, Yeah. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I think that you need to do something with Hangman. You had to go in some direction with where you're trying to tell this story, how you're going to get there, right? Because it just Hangman had really he had the run for the title at, against Kenny Omega. Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
The guy with the stuff in the place and Kenny Omega, right? And that was excellent. But then once you got there, you didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
Well, the company creative, they've learned a lot since then. I feel like they're learning more that Hangman is the future, was one of the futures of your company, So, and this is a great sort of way to handle it. It really takes a lot because, I had put out there before his departure, and everything, kind of what they were going for was this Stone Cold-esque vibe, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But no, this is really something different. Like, have you ever seen anything of this kind of character ilk?
Mankind.
I mean, he's got a lot of Mankind in him because who's in his mind.
He's got Mankind meets Stone Cold.
I mean, there's a ton of different sort of like intertwined. He doesn't feel like he's doing anything wrong,
no.
Right?
His moral moral compass is like gone.
Yeah, it's just very unique how they're interwoven all these into.
He's almost like a bounty hunter, like legit. Like he just doesn't care. He just wants to kill.
Yeah.
Hillbillish. Ooh, there you go. He's Beatrix or beep.
Okay. I got you there, Rob. Thanks, man. Rob said, no, he's trying to agree with us, but okay, I hear you. Well, but Darby did get the win, though, and that kind of serves the purpose even better, to be fair. Because then he snaps at Remsburg. Remsburg was counting too fast, and he's throwing chairs in the ring. Nobody's there. They both left. He's throwing chairs in the ring against, so we'll see where they go with this.
Yes, he is gonna lose it.
All right. Any other thoughts you had about Dynamite or wrestling in the past week, Jamie?
No, I thought Dynamite was solid again. I think the storytelling of what they're doing right now to build up All In is honestly superior in what I'm seeing on the WWE product, because they're kind of throwing some shit together at the last second, and it's like one of their marquee ones. Like, you don't need to be throwing shit together for your marquees. But that's just me. I mean, other than like the big four, 4 big stories over there. Right now, AEW's got five solid stories going on right now that I actually care about. They got 3 women's things going on right now, which I'm all for. Dude, like, AEW's doing it right now, and I just cannot wait for people to actually start paying attention to the damn thing.
Absolutely. I'm with you there, man. Well, so SummerSlam is this weekend. We'll talk more about it next week. Hopefully, Austin will be back, again, big shout out, big get well soon to one Miss Heidi Howitzer. If you follow her on Twitter, give her some love. Most definitely, breaking bones sucks, but could be a lot worse. So thankfully, that's it. It's just an ankle. There's a lot worse things out there. So, hey, Clint. But no, we want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on the replay, we do this every Wednesday, approximately half hour after Dynamite finishes, here live on YouTube. You can hit the follow button, hit the like button for each individual video. It does help us out quite a bit. We thank you guys for listening. Thank you for giving us some of your time. Next week, same bad time, same bad channel. We'll talk about SummerSlam, talk about the further build-up for... We're not too far out. We're under a month out from All In.
We'll officially be a month out, and then I'll be a day away from flying down to my cruise.
Yeah, you're going to be checkout mode. You're like, all right, 10-minute show, guys. Let's go. But no, we'll be back here, same bad time, same bad channel next week. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down until Spotfest, I got 4 words for you. I'm a Heidi Ho. Get better, kid.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.